So we are going to talk about the mechanics of manifestation. And I think this is going to be really, really helpful. I'm going to keep it short and sweet so that it really makes as much sense as possible. We know through quantum physics, through metaphysics, through spirituality, through secret societies, these are all models. So they may not say exactly the same thing. For example, Egypt mysticism may not say the same thing as quantum physics observer effect, right? And spiritual teachings may not be in perfect alignment with secret societies or string theory. But here's what you need to know, and it's so important, and it is that all of these are just models. But all of these models lead to the same exact end. And that is that any way you slice it, consciousness creates. I want you to really sit on that for a moment. Consciousness creates. It doesn't matter if you're going to use, Hermetic traditions, which are thousands of years old, or, I don't know, New Age, just trust the universe. Whatever you're using, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, consciousness creates. And it's the one single fact and factor that none of the various traditions or schools of thought or sciences can argue. Consciousness creates. Okay, great. How does consciousness create? And more importantly, why doesn't it work for everyone? Consciousness creates through attention. Attention is, I consider it three things. Attention is your thoughts, whether it's seeing things outside of you and thinking about them, like in response to them, or things you just sit around your house and come up in your mind and you start thinking about. So your thoughts, the emotions that those thoughts cultivate, that they bring up, and your actions. Okay? You know what emotions are. I don't need to go into that. But your actions are the actions that you take. Like, you could be Little Miss Spirituality and meditate and medicate every day, but then you get up and you zoom on the freeway and you cut people off and you get mad and you're, in a Facebook group that's opposing some other group. Your actions speak louder than words, as they say, right? So a lot of people will get themselves in that position where their actions are not in alignment. So another way to look at this is the word coherence. Your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions have to be in alignment with whatever it is you really want. And you're like, okay, well, I want a lot of money. Time out. I say this after years, like nearly 2 decades of either coaching or counseling people. And here's what I know for sure. Most people come to me because they want to grow their business. And this is partly my responsibility because I promote myself, or I credit myself as being a kind of a business coach. And that's because I kind of got out of the health realm that I was in for a number of years for a number of reasons. Not that I won't still help you if you have health issues, but it's just a lot. It's a really slippery slope. So that said, I like helping people that have big visions. So whether someone wants to, start a business, grow an empire, write a book, become an actor, get a contract with a label for being a musician. I like big visions. Why? Because those people most of the time are in alignment with their vision. The people that come and say, I just need to make $300,000 a year, I just need that, they're not in alignment with their vision. Now, I'm not saying that some people don't have a vision of having a lot of money. That's totally fine. But there's something called compensating factors. So if you want that money so you can pay off your debt and reduce your stress, that is not your highest value. Money is not your highest value. It's compensating for what you think is wrong or what you fear. That's so important, and I don't think nearly enough people, teachers, coaches, trainers are talking about it. So the money will come, but what's keeping it away from you is the same thing that we're going to talk about next, what's standing in the way of most people's manifestations. So instead of thinking, I want money, I want money, I want money, or I need more clients, I need more clients, I want you to get your head around the idea of what you would really love to do with the money. Because if it's like travel the world, or open a bakery, or send my kids to college, whatever it is, that's your high value. And that's what I want you to focus on. And when you focus on that, you create coherence in the quantum field. And you can call it, the quantum field. You can call it the A field, as scientist Ervin Laszlo does. He, for A for Akashic records, but he's a scientist and he's proven that the Akashic field with the Akashic records is actually very true. And he's got the science and the math to prove it, right? So these things are no longer just, oh, listen to the universe. And it can be. I don't mean to step on anyone's ideas of how they create or how they manifest. Because for some people, it can be as easy as trust in God or trust the universe. And the universe did this for me. Cool. Most of the time, it's not. And this is why. Coherence is tricky. It's tricky to get your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions all in alignment with your outcome. But I promise you, it has to start with the outcome that is aligned with your highest value. And it's usually, for most people, it's not money. I'm telling you right now, it's what you would do with the money if you had plenty of it. Okay? So I want to wrap up that part by saying life is super short. So if you want a certain amount of money so that you can finally live your life, you're doing it backwards. Start living your life, a life that you love, and the money comes. The money comes. Like that old book, do what you love and the money will come. It is so true. Okay, so why is coherence so damn hard? And here's why. For the first thing is we are in a 3D structure, the third dimensional structure. And as we sit here and we look at the things that we created with our incoherent consciousness last year, last week, a decade ago, 30 years ago, here it is now in physical form. And when we look at it in physical form and we get mad, we're like, I didn't create this. I don't want this. Why would I do this? And it wasn't that you did it. It wasn't like you intended to do it. It was that your frequency that you put out created it. And it was most likely, if you don't like what you have in your life, or you don't like parts of it, where those parts are concerned, you were putting out an incoherent frequency. Is this making sense? Now, what causes incoherent frequencies? The first thing is what I just said. You're looking at what you've already created and getting mad about it. And then this creates what I call the what do you call it? Not the assembly line, the conveyor belt of creation. It just keeps going around and around. It's like, I created this. Oh, I don't like it. Well, by not liking it, I'm creating more of it. And it's just going to keep going and going and going. That is the primary reason that people cannot put out a coherent frequency. So what is the real cause of that? It's something that I just recently coined. I didn't read it anywhere. During a meditation, I downloaded it, and I'm calling it inner agitation. I like that, right? Inner agitation. In other words, we are agitated inside ourselves at what we've already created, or things that are happening that are not in alignment with what we want in life. And so we get this inner agitation. And inner agitation, and you've probably been hearing or seeing all over social media, people are talking about nervous system regulation, and your nervous system is dysregulated. And I'm one of those people. But you know what? I've been talking about it for over a decade. I don't like to follow the fads. So as soon as I start something, and as soon as a bunch of people are doing it, then I'm like, yeah, I'm going to change the name of that. Because I'm not a fad follower. I download information and then I share it. And I don't do it so I stand out, or so I'm famous, or so I'm rich. I do it because it, things can get so diluted when a bunch of people are talking about it and giving wrong information. So that's just the way that I roll. But you choose what you like. If you want to talk about dysregulated nervous systems, I talk about plenty in my new book. But I like the term inner agitation because it really personifies what's going on. Like you're sitting here and you're like, okay, Tamara, I know that I really want to create a bigger business so that I can, have freedom, have financial freedom, be able to send my kids to a great school, be able to take my family on vacation. That's good. That is a really, really high value intention. So that's good. But notice it wasn't a dollar amount. It wasn't like I need to make $230,000 so that I can do this. No, it's here's what I want to do. And a financial freedom intention supports that. Okay, it's a little bit different. But if I am looking at everything I've created and I'm like, oh, I don't like it, we're not sending to the quantum field, to the Akashic field, to whatever field you want to call it. We're not sending a coherent frequency. And it's because of that inner agitation. So the question becomes, how do we reduce inner agitation? And the answers are quite easy, because when we look at what inner agitation is in the first place, it's being in the sympathetic nervous system. It's fight or flight. It's survival of the fittest, baby. Like, I gotta protect me and mine because life is dangerous and look what's happening there, and oh my God, the sky is falling. So the first step to get into coherence is to get out of inner agitation. Your brain cannot produce the chemicals of stress and gratitude at the same time. Speaking of gratitude is like one of my number one ways. Get in gratitude. The second thing, if not the first, because gratitude and intention setting really go hand in hand. And when I say intention setting, I don't mean just talking about it here and now. I'm talking about the process that I teach called meta creation. You have got to disconnect and step out of the chaos of incoherence if you want to put out a coherent frequency. It's really that simple. You can't be in a state of inner agitation and then get mad that you are not putting out a coherent frequency. In order to put out a coherent frequency, you have to feel coherent. Your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions have to be coherent with the outcome that you want to produce. Does that make sense? So that's really what this is all about. Grateful is just so important. Be grateful every day. Keep a gratitude journal. I don't care how cheeky it sounds or cliched. Keep a gratitude journal. Every day when you go, I play a game when I'm driving in my car. I say, before I get to this destination, I need to find 10 things to be grateful for on the way. And I'm like, I'm grateful for the freeway that I can get there faster. I'm grateful that my car works. I mean, you can literally get rid of your inner agitation by finding things to be grateful for. You can look at it before you go to bed. You can do one when you get up in the morning. So gratitude is like my number one go-to. You can also choose to withdraw from all the BS. Forget politics. Forget activist groups that you don't agree with. Forget people that start crap. Forget people who make nasty comments on your post. Forget about it. People say, yeah, but he was wrong. So he was wrong. You're not ever going to win $1 million because someone was wrong, unless you're in a lawsuit. And I have a whole nother take on lawsuits. I'll do a video on that sometime for you. Because you have to pick your battles wisely. Because no matter what, when you are in battle, you are not putting out a coherent frequency. So you have to do it. I'm not getting into lawsuits, but if you're going to do something like that, you have to do it with a lot of coherence going on. Because otherwise, you'll mess up all your future manifestations and you'll make the situation worse. Okay? So that was just a little side note. Okay. So gratitude, some kind of meditation, because if you don't disconnect with a lowered brain frequency and an elevated emotion and your imagination, you're not creating in the quantum. Really, really important. The universe, the quantum field, it operates through consciousness. And your consciousness at any given time is either coherent or incoherent. And if you're not sure which it is, look around. Look at the things that you like in your life, the things that you love. That's where you're coherent in your life. Now look around the things that aren't going so well, the things that make you mad, the things that you wish were different. That's where your frequency is incoherent. And the incoherence, remember, is caused by inner agitation. So, all that said, what I do when I work with people, whether you're in my coaching program as a group, that's magnetic marketing, and there's another one that's going to be starting, or you want to do one-on-one, or you want to buy a package and like say, okay, I want to work with you once a month for the next 6 months or 3 months or whatever it is, it's always going to be the same. We're going to find out what that inner agitation is, and we're going to work on removing it while simultaneously helping you get a more coherent signal in the quantum field, right? I'm not going to spend months getting your nervous system regulated so then I can say, okay, let's go create in the quantum. We do it at the same time. And I have honestly found, after years of research and application, that that's the best way to do it, because what sounds so fun or sexy about regulating your nervous system? Sure, you'll feel better, you'll be healthier, you'll be less likely to have a stroke or a heart attack, but at the end of the day, it's kind of boring. Yeah, it's like eating vegetables, whatever. But as you step into the version of you who has the life that you want, that's in alignment with your highest values, you just want to naturally be more calm, be more centered, be more grounded, because it's a trade-in. It's like I choose coherence, and I choose to eliminate, release inner agitation, because I've got this beautiful life that I'm stepping into. Because that's what you're doing. You've got to step into it. You know, in quantum physics, I'm trying to think, like Joe Dispenza, for example, what would apply with his work would be, and my work too, the observer effect. So you go above yourself and you see what you want to see, and just by just by virtue of you witnessing it, you've observed it into reality. I also am a really big fan of timeline jumping. And timeline jumping, remember, these are just models, but they all have science and a lot of smart guys with math. And I mean, the models are, here's one. Einstein was only a theorist. He was a quantum physics theorist. He did theory. Like, he didn't prove anything. And I know people are like, what? Brilliant, yeah. The bottom line is there's not one person on planet Earth who can prove that their model of reality creation works, besides Jesus. You know, not throwing shade on anybody. I'm just saying the models work. Whatever model you buy into, it works. What is not up for debate is that we do create our own reality, and it's through consciousness. Okay, so remember where we started. It's always through consciousness, but it's through your coherence or your lack of coherence that you get what you get. So hopefully you found this useful. Anyway, whatever mode of coaching you would be interested in, if it fits in and it resonates with you, click on the link below. I also use radionics when I'm coaching with you, so that's just an extra. So you're really getting double coaching, because we do the talk thing on Zoom, and whatever other modalities I incorporate it, but you also get my radionics love, and and a couple of other really, really great perks. So I don't do single sessions very often, but every summer, July through the end of August, I will allow for single sessions. So click on the link below if you'd like to set up a single session, and let's get you in alignment and get you more coherent with the things that you want.